last Sunday against Michigan State and won both those matches in 4 sets, and thought we played pretty well at Minnesota, and thought we persevered against a good Michigan State team. And I think right now we're winning because we're just playing hard. We're getting better, but we just play hard. Our middle blockers are a great example of that. They're just blocking a ton of balls. And they still have some things to learn about blocking, but because they're playing so hard, they're getting in front of a lot of balls and making a lot of plays. So I'm really, really happy with them. I think both, could be wrong, but I think in both matches we lost the first set and then had to kind of get regrouped and come back and win the last three. And it was not easy on either night or afternoon in yesterday's case. But thought we beat two good teams, two teams that are in the upper half of the Big Ten. I know Minnesota bounced back and beat Indiana yesterday at IU, which was a huge win for them. And so we're just trying to keep our hopes of hosting a first and second round alive. I think right now we're probably inside the 16 that would get to host, but we've got 4 matches left, obviously starting with Wisconsin on Friday. Wisconsin lost a tough match on Saturday night at Penn State, and that will impact them a little bit. They did not have their 6'9" right side player, which is a big deal, literally. And so whether she's here to play on Friday or not, I don't know, but I'm saying it's about a 99% chance she will be. So that will be a big challenge again. And then we have Maryland the following night, Saturdays. I think it's the first time we've played on a Friday, Saturday all season. So that will be something we'll have to be prepared for to make that quick turnaround. So that's where we are, and I'm ready for questions.
Against Michigan State, after dropping the first set, and then they had 3 different set points in the second, how pleased were you with the way they kept fighting it and pushed it to 30 points and won?
Yeah, very pleased. I felt like the match was won at that time, and I think both teams kind of played like the match was on the line there late in that second set. I think we were down. I think we were ahead 20-14 in the first set and got beat, and I think we were down 20-14 in the second set and came back to win. So I think the common denominator is you don't want to be ahead 20-14. But I normally I'll take that. But I just felt like we finally got rolling a little bit. We made a change in the setting position that on this particular day helped out tremendously. I was really pleased with Lauren Poulter. She sets a different game. We have 2 really good setters, but when Lauren came in, it just changed the dynamics of the match. And then I think Chloe Chacoin, they had done a great job on Chloe. It's like they spent all week preparing how they're going to slow down our freshman outside hitter, and they did for about 2 sets. But even late in that second set, she kind of got rolling a little bit, and then she was really good in the last 2 sets against them.
Did Chloe change her serve at all against Michigan State? It looked like it wasn't much of like a topspin serve and more of a generic jump serve.
Yeah. Sometimes if she's got the topspin serve really going, we like to stay with it. But we also feel like she's more accurate when she can serve the jump float. So if there are certain positions or certain people we're trying to affect with our serve, she also has a very good jump float serve. And so it kind of just depends on how I feel like her topspin serve is working. I think she had made 2 service errors with that topspin. And because of that, it is a high error serve. She's made very few errors with the jump floater, and yet it's also very effective. So, yeah, she started out with the topspin, then she went to the float.
Looking at Wisconsin, I know you mentioned that they lost to Penn State on Saturday. Do you think maybe now they're in a more vulnerable position for you guys to be their next match, or you think maybe they're going to come out a little bit stronger with that chip on their shoulder?
Yeah, I'd say that they will not be vulnerable. That'd be the last thing I would say that they'll be when they come in here. I would say that they're going to be locked and loaded when they come here to play. It's going to be hard right now, I think, for them to win the Big Ten. They're 2 games back from an undefeated Nebraska team. And I haven't looked specifically at Nebraska's schedule, but I don't see them losing 2. That would allow Wisconsin to run the table down the last 2 weekends and tie them. But I do know they're trying to host the first and second and third and fourth matches of the NCAA tournament, and so they want to, and right now they're in a position they would have that right, I think. So they have a lot to play for. We have a lot to play for. They beat us at Wisconsin in fairly convincing fashion, 3-1, and out-hit us and out-blocked us and did some different things. So we'll have to be better if we want to compete with them here on Friday night.
And then just Sarah Franklin, last time out, she had 22 kills against you guys. How do you limit her having a career night?
Well, we won't defend her the exact same way. I can promise you that. We thought we had a pretty good plan for her, but she's that good. I mean, in my opinion, she's the Big Ten Player of the Year, maybe a National Player of the Year. Her numbers are off the chart. It's just crazy what she's hitting for an outside hitter. That gets set all over the floor. It's remarkable hitting numbers, and she's a good blocker. She's passing right now, it seems like about half the floor for Wisconsin. So they're leaning heavily on her. And you look at their losses. The one was at Nebraska, where I felt like they should have won the fourth and fifth set, but they lost leads in that and got beat. And then they played without Anna Smrek at Penn State and got beat by a team that was really due to win a match, and that was, Penn State had lost some 5-setters, so they were really hungry. But I think Wisconsin's going to be hard to handle.
You talked about how Michigan State was kind of a Lauren Poulter game. Is that something that you know going in, or is that kind of an in-game adjustment about what to do with that setter position?
No, I mean right now it's Taylor Anderson's match. I mean, she's our starting setter. She's played brilliantly for a freshman. Really, the last 3 weeks, she's been tremendous. Some of the matches she's played, I've just been amazed that she's that good and making great decisions and delivering such a good ball. But when things start to go a little bit sideways, which is how I would describe how the first set and a half was going at that point in time, and you have a very capable setter. I mean, she was an all-conference setter, for a couple of years at University of Denver. She can play, and she's working her tail off to get the opportunity. Then I felt like it was a good chance to get her in there and see if that couldn't change the dynamics of the match, and luckily it did. She got the ball to some people right away, and when she comes onto the floor, she owns the court. It's not like you're bringing in a backup setter that's not sure what they're doing. She comes in and is very, very confident in how she's going to run the show. And in this particular instance, it worked out. I mean, I think that was her coming into the game made a big, big difference on the outcome of that match. But we will go back with Taylor because she does a lot of things extremely well. She has the size to block. She's a really good defender in the backcourt, and she sets the ball really, really well. But I think that it's hard for a setter to be good every time, a freshman setter to be good every time they step on the floor, and hopefully she'll learn from that experience and be really, really good on Friday night.
Right, and then Allie Horning had a good game, and you talked about her afterwards, and of course Lourdes Myers has really come on strong. You just speak to what you're learning about your team, and are you constantly kind of trying things and kind of changing as the season goes along?
Well, I think that we're still growing, which you would expect from a young team, but those two players that you talked about have been here for a while. They're both listed as juniors. I really think Lourdes Myers is a sophomore. She has 2 more years of eligibility to play for us. But Lourdes we always knew she was a great athlete. She had unique blocking capability. I saw that when she was a club player. Just reads and reacts and gets over the net quick, and our offense is coming along a lot better. So she's really been a key player because we weren't even sure who was going to play in that spot to start the season. And then she's emerged and kind of taken over that role. Horning has just been great the last couple of weeks. And, we recruited her. She was a top 40 recruit in the country coming out of high school. And we had high expectations for her, and we continue to believe that. But she's just now, in my opinion, really playing at the level that we hoped she would play at. I mean, she's always been good, but we had these expectations for her way up here. And sometimes that's hard to reach that level. But she has really played great for us, and that's encouraging because we're going to need her to be great down the stretch of this season and really, really significant next year.
And then that was kind of, your side has changed since Wisconsin. Have they changed, and will the complexion of this one be different than the last one?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, because here's what happened. When Smrek did not play at Penn State, they moved their libero, Orzol, into a left side hitting position, moved their left side player to the right side, Timmy Thomas, and Orzol was their best player of the match. Been playing libero, now she's a hitter, playing all 6 rotations, and she went off. And so if Smrek is back, she's definitely going to play her spot, but the question is, will Orzol continue to play in the left side with a little gal they call Gigi as the libero, and then Timmy Thomas is not as involved, or do they go back with the way they were doing things when they were dominating the conference for the most part? So it's hard for us to kind of prepare because we don't know what they're going to do. And so that will keep things interesting, but we'll just have to make sure that we're as good as we can be.
And then obviously this one's at home. What does that feel like for you, you know, the difference between, especially an opponent like Wisconsin and a venue like Wisconsin? How does it change coming back, having that crowd behind you?
Yeah, I think that's important because they do have a great home court environment in Madison. You know, they get 6,000 people, and they're rocking and rolling. They may have visited a few spots before they got to the match. Those fans did. And but our venue is unique as well. I mean, I wish we could get more people in to watch because, you know, a lot of people want to come and they can't get tickets. But it's a tough place to play, and we're going to need our best people, as I say, on that wall for this match because we'll have to have a lot of things going our way to beat this Wisconsin team. Thank you.
Dave, you're guaranteed 4 more, well, probably in your case 5 more matches, but what do you need to see out of these last 4 to feel like you've got the team you want going into the tournaments?
Well, I feel that way right now, to be honest. I mean, I feel like we just have to keep moving in the same direction. Our passing is solid. You know, when you try to prepare for a tournament, you're trying not to get upset. And the way you get upset is if your ball control game goes south. Or somebody loses their mind in a bad way on your team and doesn't play at the level they've been playing at. But, you know, a great example would have been Chloe, you know, yesterday. You know, she really struggled on Chloe terms for the first 2 games. And there were some matches early in the season where might have been 2 matches, maybe non-conference or maybe 1 non-conference, 1 early in conference, where she just was not Chloe. And it was that way for the whole game. Here she was not Chloe for about a game and 3/4, and then she snapped out of it. She figured things out, and she, you know, willed her way to be the kind of player that she needed to be for us to win. So I think there's been a lot of maturity with this team. Lourdes Meyer is another example of that. You know, we have to get healthy. We have 2 players that were not able to play. You know, yesterday we had Grace Heaney, who got hurt against Penn State, was not on the ability to play list yesterday. Rastovsky's had some other physical issues, and she really wasn't able to play. So we can't go into tournament matches and not have more depth than that. I mean, I'm not sure what, you know, if Grace Heaney, if Kenna Wooler gets hurt or one of our left sides get hurt, we didn't have, Brielle Warren was the only person we could have gone to at that point in time, and she hasn't played, I don't think, in the entire Big Ten.
And then I guess you've been coaching a long time, longer than I've been alive, so do you have to temper your expectations maybe when you have a younger team and have a different approach and be more patient, and how difficult is it if so?
Well, I don't know that the youth has had as much to do with it as just who they are, Sam. I mean, I've been able to, yesterday was a rare exception where I felt like I had to go to a different gear in coaching because I felt like we didn't come out. We were ripe to be picked yesterday after beating Penn State and Minnesota back-to-back matches, which were significant wins for our program. To sweep those teams the way we did this year, I just felt like it was going to be a tough match for us. And I was pleased we started out and got that big lead, but then when things started to go the way they did and we had some looks on faces that I didn't really care for, then I had to kind of show a little more intensity than what I've been showing. I've been pretty relaxed. I've been able to sit back because you've got these great competitors. You know, you got Raven and Eva and Chloe and Horning. I mean, you got great competitors that play Skimmerhorn, and that they kind of can make it happen on their own. I'm not having to give monumental pep talks to this group. They can come out and play. So I don't think the youth has as much to do with it. Obviously, you know, I didn't think Taylor was fantastic yesterday, but when I look at her last 7 or 8 matches, she's been over the top, and she'll bounce back. So I just don't think that I feel like this team's young. They don't play young. They don't act young. So from that standpoint, I don't think I've had to make a lot of adjustments. I think early in the season I was prepared for that, but I don't think it's been a big factor.
And then you talked about Holloway, and it's kind of come up a few times about the limitations of space in there. Is that a conversation that you've had, or is that, I mean, I know a lot of people would like to, have a few games in Mackey or whatnot, just get more fans there.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, is how I'll leave that. I mean, number one, I like playing. I mean, if I have a choice to play in Holloway or Mackey, I prefer playing Holloway. We practice there every day. We win a lot of matches in there. It would be nice to be able to get some matches in Mackey, maybe non-conference, maybe matches that you have a lot of confidence that you could win either in Holloway or Mackey. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not sure I'd necessarily want to go in there and play crucial matches if I'm not more comfortable playing in that facility. It'd be nice if some donor would step up and say we could build a tremendous volleyball venue like they have done at Indiana lately. They've done it at Ohio State. They've done it at Iowa. They've done it several places. But that's a pie in the sky type situation.
Dave, let me
Tim,
go.
how about that one, pie in the sky?
I like
in
that.
your wheelhouse?
It is. Thank you. We can come up with more if you'd
No,
like.
no, that's all right. That's good.
Hypothetical. Could you have won the match you won yesterday back in September? Has this team grown? I mean, the growth of this team to have to grind a match out like that, do you think you could have won that match 2 months ago?
I'm not sure because we lost a couple like that. So I guess maybe not. But I believe that when you play, we've played 25 matches now, I think. We've grown a lot and a lot of belief. When you play a really tough schedule and you win a lot of 5-set matches that are right down to the wire, you start to have a belief that you can turn things around. So I'm pleased with that we did win this one. It's like hypothetical questions, just legally they just don't make sense.
No, they don't. Kenna Woolard, can you talk about her, the fact that she's been on the bench for a while now, waiting for her turn. When her turn came this week, she produced for you.
It's a great story, in my opinion. And just to give you the background, Kenna was playing on the right side position for us, and we were doing okay, and she was doing fine. She had some good matches, but we wanted to give Grace Heaney an opportunity. I think it was over at Ohio State when that happened, and Grace just had an unbelievable match. And so she kind of took over that spot for a while. And one of the reasons that we felt it was important to let Grace Heaney and Emily Rastovsky get some of that opposite time was when you've got two outside hitters like Eva and Chloe, you feel great about that. But in any sport, they're an ankle turn away from having to have somebody else come in and play in that role, which is be on the floor for 6 rotations. So we spent probably the last 4 or 5 weeks grooming Kenna in practice, to fill that role. But because we're playing in the Big Ten, she hasn't been in a match in that role as a left side hitter because we just don't have that flexibility. So now when we were short on the right side, a couple of players, we felt like, okay, this is her opportunity to go back and get something done. And at Minnesota, she was incredible at Minnesota. In a big environment, she was really, really good, and I thought she was solid. Got it to a slow start yesterday, but then she hit some big shots for us when we really. I think she won set 3 with a kill to win a 2-point game, and then she was really good in set 4.
Lastly, we've gone about 20 minutes and haven't talked about Eva Hudson. Is it easy to take her for granted at this point in her career?
Not for me. It's not. No, I thank God every day that we have Eva Hudson on our team, and she's just so steady now. It's not like you're surprised when she has 19, 20 kills. You assume that's going to happen, and she's improving in a lot of different ways. She's working really hard on her serve receive. Her serve has become a real weapon for us. Defensively, she's making great progress. She takes a lot of pride in who she is, but no, in no way in the world am I taking for granted what Eva Hudson does. She's a special, special player. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for being here. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday. No, not later. not lately. I hadn't been on